Welcome to the Z-Hut's Mad Scientist Laboratory. I'm Professor Z, and today we're going to attempt to take over the world using Arduinos. Grab your favorite Arduino board and put on your tinfoil hat, because it's time to build. Today, we will be attempting to take over the world by building our own FM radio. Now, we are using the TEA5767 radio module, which is right here. Now, this comes with this dinky little antenna that plugs right onto it. Look in the description below, and I will have a link to how to make this. So when you put this in an enclosure, you don't have to mount the radio to the side of the box to be able to plug the antenna in. This will allow you to have an external antenna. So make sure to check that out. Just look in the description below. You'll find a link. Also, there is the option of adding a amplifier to this. This is the TEA5767. This is a 30-watt amplifier. It's stereo, so it's 2 channels, 15 each. And this will drive a pretty good size speaker. As you can see here, I've got, this is an 8 ohm, 15 watt, so this is perfect for the amplifier, and I have 2 of these. Now this is optional. Otherwise, you can just plug headphones directly into this. Otherwise, you use this little headphone jack connector, and you plug the amplifier into there, and then you run 12 volts to the 12 volt end, and then you have a right and left channel. Now our other accessories we have is we have an LCD screen which displays the frequency we're on. We have a rotary encoder so we can tune our frequency that we want up and down. The rotary encoder has a push button. If you push it, it doesn't turn the LCD screen off, it just turns the backlight off. That way, if you're using this somewhere you didn't want the light on, you could turn it off. Also, if you're using batteries to operate this, it will help save on batteries. And if you hold it down, it's got like a half a second delay in there. That's just for software debouncing, so when you push the button once, it doesn't flicker off and on real quick. We also have 3 preset push buttons. As you can see, when I push them, it changes frequencies. You can add more. I just went with 3. You can add as many as you'd like. For the Arduino board to control this, I'm using a Pro Mini. I recommend a Pro Mini or a Nano because I'll be putting this together on one of these little point-to-point solder breadboards. And the Arduino Pro Mini or Nano will fit on there, and then we'll have our connectors. And as you can see, I have connectors I've made here, so I can plug the rotary encoder in. So that connection would be soldered onto here. There is a connector, no, I didn't make a connector yet for the LCD screen, but it does have one on this side, so the wires will probably be soldered right to the board. There's a connector here. We have our wires that go over, and this controls the backlight on there. And then I will also be doing a separate little breadboard. I'll be soldering together, putting my push buttons on for my presets. So, and when I solder this, I will probably put 6 of them on there. I can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's more than enough presets. Actually, I could probably get away with just the 3 in my area, local area. There's only 3 stations I generally listen to anyway. And I'm going to be building this to put on the nightstand by the bed. So if I want to listen to a radio at night, or if there's a power outage, this will also have the option of running on batteries. All right. With that, I've demonstrated it working here. I'm not going to hook the amplifier and plug that in and try playing music on here. That could possibly pull some copyright infringements. Because I wouldn't own the copyrights to anything that we were going to pull over the FM band. So why don't we go over and we'll take a closer look at the schematic of this real quick. Just take a look at the quick connections, how to set this up. Also, to get a copy of that schematic, just look in the description below. You'll find a link to this project's webpage, and you can download and print that out, or just look at it and build it off your computer screen, whatever. You'll also find the Arduino code on there. And after we take a look at the circuit real quick, we'll go over and I'll show you on the sketch how to change your presets and how to change the name of your radio up here. I've got it saying Z-Hot FM radio. I'm sure you'll want to change that. Otherwise, most of the rest of the sketch you're not going to really want to change anything on, or this just generally isn't going to work. Also, any of the parts, I will have links to where to get those on the website as well. So, all right, let's go over and check out the schematic. Okay, I got the schematic brought up here. Let's just start here. I'm using an Arduino Pro Mini. Like I said, that's what I recommend is the Pro Mini or a Nano. If you use any other Arduino, you're going to want to check because our LCD screen and our TEA5767 radio module is using the I2C communication. So just check those pins on the Arduino Pro Mini here. That is A4 is the SDA, and A5 is the SCL. Just check if you do use a different Arduino, but I recommend, the Pro Mini or the Nano is nice and small, and you can put this in a smaller enclosure. And I did forget to mention that I didn't have mine soldered together and put into an enclosure yet because I haven't decided on an enclosure. Everybody's going to probably come up with something a little different. Kind of depends on what you have on hand. Make it out of wood, pre-existing container, whatever. All right, so we've got our LCD screen, and like I said, we got our SDA and SCL, that's A4 and A5. To turn the backlight on, we have a 2N, 2-2, 2-2 transistor. Anything remotely similar to that transistor will work. Just make sure the base can handle 5 volts, and that's just connected to pin 5. If you are pushing your button on your encoder and you're sure you have everything hooked up right and it's not turning the light off and on, just switch these 2 wires. That's all it is. All right. Then speaking of the encoder, we'll just go there next. Here's our encoder, and we have our output pins of the encoder on D2 and D3. If the frequency is not changing, if it's, you're turning it to the right, it's not going the direction counting up or down, whichever way you want, just switch these 2 wires. That's all you got to do. And then your 3rd wire goes to ground right here. And we are connecting these to the interrupt pins, and I do believe most Arduinos, the Nanos, the Pro Mini, the Unos, the Villanova, I am not sure. The Mega, I know, I'm pretty positive is different. So once again, just check whatever board you're using, but I'm just going to keep saying a Pro Mini or a Nano is perfect and your best option for this project. All right, so there's our encoder, and here's our encoder button, and we are just connecting the button to pin 8 and the other side to ground. While we're at it, here's our preset buttons. You can see I just have all the grounds chained together. If you want more preset buttons, add more. And then you've got more pins open. We've got digital pin 13 open, 9 open, 7, 6, 4. So you have the potential of adding more. And you can also use your analog pins as well if you wanted to put a whole bunch of presets. And then when we get to the sketch in a moment here, I'll show you how to add them in there as well. Then last, what we have here is our TEA5767 radio module. I didn't draw the amplifier in here. I just put the output. This is your plug. It's just your standard audio jack. Same thing your headphones have on them. And you just plug that in, and you plug in your headphones or plug in that amplifier. And there are other amplifiers out there as well. Is that one that that'll have a plug like this on it. Otherwise, you can just wire it in directly. You will have to have a plug, of course, and then wire the wires in directly. It all depends on your amplifier. I hope that makes sense. And then we got our antenna, which plugs into it. And remember, look in the description below for that external antenna so that you can mount it. You don't have to have the antenna actually plugged directly to the side of the board. All right, then our SDA and SCL pins, once again, it goes to A4 and A5, or depending on what board you have, you might have to change that. And don't worry, you can have more than one thing plugged in. In the library for the TEA5767, the address is already added in there. In the I2C, we define the address in the setup. But if you're using the same LCD as I am, it's going to most likely be the same address. But when we get over to the sketch, I'll direct you over. On the web page, I'll have a link to a video on just setting the LCD screen up in case you don't have the address, or maybe you're using a 4-line or a slightly different one. All right. Now you can also use, there are non-I2C LCDs, but they use a ton of pins, and you probably start running out of pins. So I recommend just going to I2C. It's like $1 more. It's way easier to hook up and use. And then we've got 12 volts coming in. That goes into the raw on the Pro Mini. On your Nano and other boards, it would be VN. Just remember not to connect that to your VCC or 5 volt. That pin, the VCC or 5 volt, that's your out, and that's what we're going to control the LCD, the radio module, and everything else. So, all right. Once again, look in the description below. You'll find a link to the web page, and you can get the schematic off there. Feel free to print it out, or just put it on your tablet and look at it while you connect the circuit. But I find printing it out helps a lot. So, all right, let's get over now and take a look at the sketch for this, and I'll show you how to change the name of your radio on the LCD, how to add the presets. And in case I forget, just look on the web page, and I'll have a link on there on another video on how to go through and set up your I2C LCD screen if you don't know the address and all that. But I would just go ahead, if you're using the I2C, just plug it in, wire it up like this. It's most likely going to work. They generally have the same address, and it's not an address you can change. All right, let's go over and take a look at the sketch. I'll catch you there in just a second. All right, I got the Arduino IDE opened up and the sketch brought up here. Once again, reminder, you can go to the website, find a link to that in the description below, and you can download, actually you can just copy this off of there and paste it in your Arduino IDE. All right, well first we got a couple libraries we're including. The wire.h is built in your Arduino IDE. You should already have it unless you accidentally deleted it. So that one you should already have. The next library we need is the library for the radio module. You can find that by going under Sketch. In your menu bar, I guess I have that just off the screen, but you go on Sketch. Oh, excuse me. And then go under Manage Libraries. This is going to take a moment to bring it up. Hopefully not too long. Oh, excuse me, allergies are getting me pretty bad today. And right here in the search bar, just put in the TEA5767. And as you can see, only 2 of them come up. What you were going to want is the top one here, the Arduino TEA5767 by Simon Monk. So I've already got it installed, but that's the one you want. You do not want this one down here. This is for more advanced use. This one here is the library that we are using. All right, so I close that out. Now the liquid crystal I2C, I don't know if they have that in there or not. I've been using this for quite a while. I will have a link on my website to the download link. I know if you go like we just did and put the liquid crystal I2C in there, .h, well, actually we can check real quick, but if I remember right, there's quite a few libraries for that screen. So we'll check that quick. Yeah, just see. I don't want to drag this video on too long. All right, we got it in there, and yeah, there's a bunch of them that show up here. Let me see if the one I have even shows up. No, it's not even on here, the one I have. The reason I'm using the one I have is because it works really, really good. And I remember when I first got into the LCDs, I had some problems with library. So go to the website, you'll find a link to this, plus I'll have a tutorial, I'll have a link to another video I did on how to set all this up. And this is your address right here. But most likely, if your screen looks like mine, it's a 2-line, it's going to be the same thing. So let's move on and get going here. Next, we're defining our pins for the rotary encoder, the LCD backlight, the LCD button, that's the switch button, our presets and stuff like that. I would recommend leaving them alone. Just remember, if you add more presets right here, I'm calling it PS1 button, 10, 11, 12. If you add more, just go ahead and define, make the next one PS4 button, and then whatever pin you're putting that on, add that, so on and so on. The rest of this, leave alone. This is for the rotary encoder. You mess with this, it's not going to work, so please leave that alone. Void setup, we're just starting our wired up again. That's starting up the I2C communication. Then we're getting our input pull-up resistors for our buttons, like our push buttons for presets. So once again, if you add more presets, you're going to have to do a pin mode and do the input pull-up for them. Otherwise, leave the rest of this alone. Then we're attaching our interrupts. And then we're just initializing the LCD, getting everything going, and then clearing it just to make sure it's clear. Then next, oh, excuse me, oh, the allergies are really hitting me bad today. Right here, the only thing you might want to change is if you want to change the name of the radio, you put it right here between the parentheses. That's what it will show up on the first line on the LCD screen. That'll be the name of your radio. Otherwise, leave the rest alone. What this does here is it's constraining it to the FM broadcast band, so that if you turn the rotary encoder and try to go past 107.9, it will not. It will stop there. On a rare occasion, I got a glitch. It would go to 108. And then you turn it again and it go back to 107.9. That's just, it's one of those little glitches you're going to run into, and it isn't going to affect anything. So I didn't go through and do any further programming on it. Otherwise, leave the rest of this alone. Now, next what we're doing is we're just checking if that button is pushed to turn the LCD screen off and on. Leave all this alone. Now here's the preset buttons, and right here, this would be button number 1. So if you wanted a different frequency, you would put it there. For your preset number 2, you would put it there. Oh, excuse me, get that highlighted. You'd put it there, and for preset number 3, you'd put it there. Now, maybe you only want to have 1 or 2 presets. You can just put them in, and you don't have to comment this out. It just won't do anything because you don't have a button there. But otherwise, you can just, if you're only using 1 preset or 2 presets, you comment the rest out. Just remember up in your pin modes and defines, get rid of it there as well. Otherwise, to add more, what you would do is you would just copy this. And we'll go Control C. enter, go Control V, and you change this right here. Our next would be 4, and then you just put your frequency in here. Let's see, 103.7 is another station local to me. But once again, just remember up here, you would have to add all that stuff in your buttons here. You'd have to add another button. So the next one, you could probably put it on pin 13 and so on and so on. I'm going to get back down to where we are. I'm going to go ahead and just take that back out because I don't need it. Down here in the, this is controlling the rotary encoder. You do not want to touch anything here, or once again, this will not work. If you've learned enough and know enough about Arduino to be able to go in and start modifying stuff and doing things in here, then you know what you're doing. Otherwise, leave this alone, really. Just leave it alone. Otherwise, this ain't going to work. In this series of videos, I'm looking more at intermediate. I have beginner's lessons. If you're a subscriber to my channel, you know that. And these mad scientist videos I'm doing, this is more intermediate, a little more advanced. And sometime soon, we're going to start doing some videos on some more advanced stuff, like going through and actually showing you and how, like stuff with this rotary encoders and how we're doing the debouncing. But this is more advanced stuff. And for this project, I wouldn't change anything. Just remember, you change your presets here. Well, don't change anything except, you know, the presets and the name of your radio right here. And if you need to add some more presets, you hopefully understood how to do that. And well, with that, I hope you have good luck with building this. If you have any problems, you shouldn't. If you do, I would probably just go through and check your code and check your wiring. Otherwise, worst comes to worst, you can leave a comment, and if possible, I will get back to you. Sometimes I'm not always notified about the comments, but there are other people on my channel that respond to comments once in a while as well. So feel free to leave a comment. Hopefully somebody will get back to you. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Just a reminder, once again, look in the description below. You'll find a link to the website for this project, and you'll find all the information you need there to build this. So with that, I hope you have a great day, and well, have fun trying to take over the world, build your own FM radio. But the most important thing of all, remember to always wear your tinfoil hat. We don't want the government and the aliens to know what we're up to.